recently rewatched all of the Fantastic Four movies to determine if they were secretly
fantastic.
Spoiler alert, the answer is a hard no. None of them are good. But hey, that doesn't mean we still can't determine which of these movies is the best one of the bunch. Welcome to Bite Size Bunny, my name's Tony, and today we are going to be ranking all three of the Fantastic Four movies. Without much further ado, let's get to it. This is such a bizarre ass movie. It is so aimless with its story that you can absolutely tell they had no clue what to do with a sequel. It feels like a total cash grab. Most of this film feels like a series of things that are just happening to fill out the runtime, which is truly baffling when you've got a character as cool as the Silver Surfer here. But I guess Silver Surfer was just too hard, so let's just bring back Dr. Doom instead so he can be evil in a corner, and occasionally Silver Surfer will pop up and be eye candy so people can be like, ooh, Silver Surfer, look, he's right there. And nothing more. Also, talk about completely wasting Galactus here. I don't mind the actors in these roles. I think they're doing the absolute best they possibly can with what they've been given. Michael Chiklis is great as the Thing, and this time around, I do think his dynamic with Johnny Storm is a bit more enjoyable to watch. Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman are totally wasted in this movie. Their function in Rise of the Silver Surfer is annoying melodrama that doesn't really add anything to the story, which is really frustrating. This is just one big ol' nothing burger of a movie. You're going to get nothing out of this film because there is nothing to take away from it. Nothing actually happens. But hey, at least I wasn't bored out of my mind, so I guess there's still that. To start out with, the one and probably the only positive in this movie is Ben Grimm is the best part of Fantastic Four. He's easily the most interesting character out of the group. He's got the best scenes, the most emotional story beats. Everything with the Thing is good. I would even say sometimes it's really good. I just wish the rest of the movie could have been as good as this one individual character. This movie wastes no time and jumps right into the action with the space disaster that turns them into superpowered beings, focusing on the transformations of these characters. But then it spends so much time after the fact with these characters constantly bickering amongst each other and learning to come to terms with the fact that they have powers now, accompanied with plenty of training for how to control them. And that aspect was really disappointing. I was hoping this film would actually focus on making these characters interesting and getting you to care about them, but instead it's so focused on their abilities. The only exception to that is Michael Chiklis as the Thing. Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman have their will they won't they romance. Johnny Storm's got his smartass hot-headed nature, and Dr. Doom is just evil bad guy of the week. It is all very one note and extremely underwhelming. After a point, I would even say it starts to get tiring and makes the story feel like it's dragging on way longer than it actually is, which is especially rough considering this film is only an hour and a half. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just not exciting or interesting either. It perfectly blends in with a lot of the other generic, forgettable 2000s comic book movies. Look, this is not a good movie, so the fact that it's at the #1 spot, take it with a grain of salt, because the reality is all three of these films are terrible. I just personally would rather watch this one again over the other Fantastic Four movies. While I personally felt like the previous two movies were aimless with their stories, I can at least say that Fant Four Stick has a cohesive narrative. Well, for the most part, it starts out as a grounded sci-fi film with some horror undertones, and I actually appreciated that they were trying something different here and going with a unique direction. It's not good, but I've definitely seen worse. Really, the biggest issue with Fant Four Stick is its complete cop-out of a final act. Everything leading up to that last 30 to 40 minutes feels like it's trying so hard to go, hey guys, look, we're different, just to settle for a shoehorned in big fight with the bad guy that feels so lazy and just out of place. This one actually had me for a little bit, and then it completely lost me at the finish line. I do think the cast is serviceable here. While they're not my personal picks for these characters, I think they work for this specific iteration and take on the Fantastic Four. And yeah, congratulations to Fant Four Stick and getting that #1 spot. You were the best of the worst here. Fingers crossed we finally get our first good Fantastic Four film this year. If that one happens to fall through, then yeah, I think it's time to just stop. Or at least time for me to stop holding out hope that we'll actually get a good one of these. In the meantime, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube stuff. And what's your favorite Fantastic Four movie? Do you think any of these are good, or are you also holding out hope that we'll finally get a good one later this year? I'd love to know.